Morgan You Know Podcast Network presents Balls and Brew.
Oh, that's right. The preview music is playing in my head, getting me pumped up for another edition of the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. Hello to everyone joining us live right now, whether they are viewing this later on YouTube or checking us out on Facebook right now. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you like and follow our page so you can see what we are up to here. We appreciate that. And there is always just an audio version of this available wherever you do listen to your podcasts. That is how this whole train got started. And then our wonderful producer, James Thomas Jamriska, suggested that we perhaps broadcast our lovely faces online every now and again when we come together to talk sports. That's what we are here to do, right, Jimmy?
Oh, it's what we do best. We just sit down like three guys with some brews or not, some Pepsi products,
Right.
and then talk about sports. It's a lot of fun.
Well, see, we've been around for so long that when we first started out, we had no problem just hammering down brews. And now some of us are at that age where you have one beer and you're liable to just start falling asleep. So we can't be doing that when we're trying to bring high quality content for the people. And one of the reasons we have high quality content for the people is our handicapper, the man who's making the bets. He's got the apps. He's got the leans. He knows how to play poker. He's got many different ways he makes money. That's why he's our handicapper. He's our NFL expert. He's Josh Williams. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? Are you pumped for some AFC South Colts talk along with some AFC West?
I got to be honest. I thought you would really hold on to the AFC South till almost the end and like make me wait for it. So I'm really surprised that the second episode out the gate, you're giving me my catnip.
Yeah, man. Colts are going to be an exciting team. So looking forward to talking about them.
So well, you know what else has been exciting?
Well, no, Rod,
Jimmy.
you had a tough weekend. Okay, Williams and I got together. We decided, hey, got to give him some love. So that's why the Colts are here.
That's fine. But you know what I really want to talk about before we even get to any of the football is the other thing that has all of my attention. And it turns out not just my attention. The ratings are in and they are pretty good. America is tuning in to the Olympics in France. The Americans are dominating. We are just smoking them in overall medals. The pesky Chinese are right there with us in gold medals. So it's going to still be a close race on that by the end. But we are dominating in overall total medals. Men's, women's basketball, those medals are on the way. Women's soccer still has an outside chance there. We still got plenty of track and field medals to go. We talked about this last week. I was disappointed in all of your Olympic intake. Jimmy Jam, I'm going to start with you because I have a feeling Williams is still going to disappoint me. So have you taken in more Olympics since the last time we recorded?
Yeah, I'm going to disappoint you too, Rod. Not as much. It's weird how the Olympics, now that they're available on Peacock, you kind of go back and forth with all the different ones. But I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch too much of it. The kids have watched a lot of basketball. I just haven't been around. Sorry, brother.
Oh, the Gold Zone is absolutely incredible. I mean, like I was just sitting back and watching the Gold Zone, and certainly we understand the Red Zone has been around. Certainly we get that the NBA has certain nights where they'll do a whip around show as well. We understand that they're not reinventing the wheel here. But Williams, I was imagining if Gold Zone existed 24/7, right? Like there was just a sports network that existed that somehow was able to rope in all of the rights, right? And there was one guy just taking us around to all the cool stuff that would happen on TV. Like, would you watch just that network or would you still need the 6 different screens that you have going there in Williams HQ?
No, that network would be awesome. I gotta admit, and I've heard some really good things about the Gold Zone. So, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I've said that for ever since I got into DFS golf. Golf needs this, man, because they only show like the top 5 guys on the leaderboard. Like, if you have different bets on like top 20s, or you got a certain guy who's trying to get into the top 40, or you got international bets, like you want to see different groups. And so I think that this would benefit golf massively.
Jimmy, what also if there was just like an app, right, that was just called Sports, and like you could just go to the sports app and then you could just click on the sport the way that the Peacock has it set up for the Olympic sports, right? Where you just go sports, football, and then football comes up for you and you can watch your football. Like, shouldn't we just get there at some point with the ease of all of these things?
Well, you should, but then that app you would have to pay different different fees for every single streaming service. So that app alone might be free, but the in-app purchases might be $3,000 to get everything that you want.
Well, listen, I don't know. I don't want to put a clamp on what people want to spend. All right. I'm just trying to make a free app for the people. All right, Jimmy, what they choose to spend, what they choose to make part of their budgets. All right. That's none of our business. We're not trying to get in people's bank accounts. So, Jimmy, you haven't watched much of the Olympics. So tell me what you as an outsider. I'm not sure that
Yeah.
that's necessary.
I'm an outsider. Yeah, that's how bad it is, honestly, in my life. But thank you for bringing that up again, Rod. I have enjoyed hearing all of the gymnastics talk. I
Okay.
think there's been some really good sportsmanship.
So you think
Uh,
gymnastics still come off as the big winners of the
I
Olympics, and
think,
not
you
just
know, they
basketball?
always will. I think the dominance that we have in in women's soccer, depending on the day, but in basketball as well, in the bigger sports, um, it doesn't wane my interest or other people's interest, but something like gymnastics, where it really is up to 3 to 5 people how good someone did, I think that's a little bit more intriguing.
Waves, how about something like volleyball, right? There's like, I understand that there's a beach volleyball league out there, right? There's actually an indoor volleyball league, right? There's games that get played actually across the states and the world in non-Olympic years. I only watch volleyball in the Olympic years, and I think it's absolutely incredible. Like, could you see yourself, like, when it gets really lean and like in its NFL off season and you don't want to bet on something else, like, could you see yourself betting on volleyball someday? Like, do you ever check out volleyball? It seems like an exciting sport.
Yeah, I love some volleyball, man. I was like you that last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, where you were you really wanted the boys men's volleyball in high school. That's how I was. I love
Yes.
volleyball. Yeah, that would be cool. I know the Lyles finished track and field. That was awesome. Yeah, the track and field stuff has just been fantastic. That seems like it never disappoints. So yeah, but yeah, more volleyball. Let's go.
Listen, I and they should just keep the court that they have in Paris, France, the beach volleyball court right in front of the Eiffel Tower. Like, just keep that forever and always, right? Like, there should just be a stop that rolls through the Paris Eiffel Tower court at all times. Disappointed though in the female beach volleyball teams. No medal coming for the U.S. for the first time in quite a while there. Come on, we got to step it up on the beach. But listen, let's get out of the Olympics. Let's get off the beach. Let's get to the gridiron. Let's get to the grass. Let's get between the white lines. We have the AFC South and the AFC West ahead of us. And Jimmy, I've always said, let's save the best for last. So let's start in the AFC West. All right, we'll save our Colts for last.
Of course. I mean, the best division, obviously, in the AFC is the AFC South. So we should start with the AFC West, which is an inferior division, correct?
Nice. Also, we should probably make mention of something here. I did not say off the top. Our usual fourth member, Chris King, is not here with us. And I think there's also something juicy about doing Chris's supposed favorite team, the Colts, but then he also claims the Cowboys. So again, I wonder how he's been able to claim 2 favorite teams on this podcast, but we've allowed it. So Chris, I love that we're doing the Colts without you here, my friend. But we're not starting with the Colts. We're starting with the AFC West. And what we do when we come to a division is we throw it to the man who actually knows what he's talking about. He gives us some of his tidbits. No, Jimmy, not you. That's not you. You are the one who definitely doesn't know what he's talking about, and people should fade your bets. We've discussed this many, many times.
Except for the Browns.
Except for the Browns. And go Raiders.
And go right. Oh, look out, Raiders fans. All right, Williams, what do you got for us in the AFC West? Because it better be something more than just Chiefs, Mahomes, good.
Yeah, let's start out with the over-unders on the wins here. KC 11.5. That is surprisingly shaded to the under at -105. Chargers 8.5. That's shaded over big time, -155. A lot of juice there if you want to play the Chargers over. Raiders shaded over at 6.5, -130. And you guys probably could have guessed this. Broncos shaded under 5.5, -125. Do you want to start with the
Let me ask you
Chiefs?
about the Broncos. No, let's ask about the Broncos real quick because that's where everybody wants to start. Who's going to play the most games at quarterback for the Denver Broncos this year? Jimmy Jam, your answer.
Oh, it's Bo Nix. I think he's going to play the most games, and I think he's going to do a very, very good job for a first-year quarterback. You've kind of seen some things in the preseason and in training camp, so I think he's fine. I think he's going to play the most snaps.
Williams, is Jimmy onto something with Bo Nix plays the most snaps?
Yeah, you could have found Jared Stidham like 10 days ago plus 850 to be the week 1 starter. I thought that was crazy. He was behind Zach Wilson at that time. They just put out the depth charts and Jared Stidham's number 1. And I do agree though with Jimmy that Bo Nix will probably end up playing the most snaps. Whoever it is, it's going to be a ton of short passes with either Bo Nix or Jarrett Stidham. I mean, they're going to run, pass. At least that's what they're going to try to do. They did invest on the O-line and the D-line, but Sean Payton's least amount of wins ever in a season for his career is 7.
Yep, that's what I'm
And
banging the over, dude. I'm telling you right now, I'm banging the over on the Saints in this division. Not the Saints. See, I just did it because of Peyton. I'm banging the over on the Broncos here. They cleaned house. You said it yourself. Peyton's never had a bad record. Now, I'll gather you that he's probably never had as bad a quarterback as he's going to have going in this year with the Broncos. But I don't know, man. I think Sean Payton can win 6-7 games with that Broncos team. I really do.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. There's questions about the secondary after Patrick Surtain. And no one targets the running backs out of the backfield more than Sean Payton's offenses. This offense is not going to be explosive or dynamic at all. I mean,
Ugliest 6 or 7 wins we've ever seen in the history of man still gets over on that bet.
a ton of short timing routes with what they hope is run after the catch. So listen, Bo Nix was super accurate at Oregon, and that's what Sean Payton's going to try and do.
That's what I'm talking about. We essentially have Scott Bakula's character from Necessary Roughness coming to quarterback the Denver Broncos. All right. And that's essentially what we have here. So I'm excited about the Broncos because, you know, we're not even talking about the Chiefs yet. Go on to somebody else from the AFC West. We're not even going to talk about the Chiefs yet.
Yeah, if you want to get boomerish here, Raiders, they were 29th in pace last year on offense. They bring in Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator from the Bears, and the Bears were 31st in pace last year. So I think Antonio Pierce is going to want to run the ball and then run ball some more and then run the ball some more.
Remind the people, Mr. Williams, remind the people what you think of the Raiders hiring Antonio Pierce, because I believe you had some pretty strong opinions about how the interim coach then getting hired never really works out. Didn't you?
I don't know if I did or not. I mean, I like his he's got a ton of respect in the locker room. And so there was a lot of vets that said that they weren't going to come back if he wasn't rehired. And so he gets them.
Ooh.
He does get them motivated. He does have them playing hard. But some of the stuff, you know, not passing on early downs, not going for it, not being aggressive enough on fourth downs, like that's going to come back to bite him.
Some of you new listeners, that's William speak for he's not a very good coach, right? Those are Williams's pillars right there. Those couple of things that he just pointed to.
There's worse coaches. I think this defense is really sneaky good, man.
For sure. Anytime you got Max Crosby on your defense, put pressure on the quarterback, you're gonna have. I mean, that's a good start, right? I mean, pressure on the quarterback's the easiest way to upend anything these offenses want to do. So,
and listen, the fantasy alert: Josh Jacobs is gone, and we know that Antonio Pierce wants to run the ball some more and run. And so Zamir White. I mean, you could probably get this guy pretty.
I'm sorry, did you say Jaleel White?
Yes, he did.
It's Urkel's brother.
Nice. Look at him.
Have you seen the offseason picks from this dude? This dude looks like Mike Tyson.
I've never heard his name before. You just said it right there.
Yeah, he's ready to get like 400 touches. I only half joke there because of Antonio Pierce's willingness to run.
So would you rather have what'd you say his name was? Zamir White? Would you rather have him than the Bengals running, or not the Bengals running back, but the Bills running back? Would you rather have him than the Bills running back, Cook?
I think I might. That's actually a pretty good question.
Really? Look at you getting fantasy advice, Rod.
Yeah, they're both between like 10 and 15, I think.
He's like the only friend that you and I have in common that's not in our league, Jimmy. That's why Williams has got to be the guy we go to for this.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, I think the Raiders. Jimmy, I heard you say the Raiders earlier. What do you got? You got something cooking about Las Vegas.
I think it's going to be tough for Vegas and also Denver. They have to play the NFC West, I believe.
Because they're in that division.
No, sorry,
NFC. Excuse me.
Yeah,
you're right.
Sorry, actually, they play the NFC South. They only play the Rams as a West. I don't see them going very far. I think they're going to go 6-11. I think they're going to be the basement of this division. It's just too tough. Antonio Pierce you can't blame him for if you don't have the talent. I'm sorry, you can't. He's fine. People like him. You don't have the talent, and Getsy is not a good OC. I'm sorry.
You also can't convince me that somebody that has the haircut that Mark Davis has is just a competent individual. Like I don't see how somebody who has it all together will walk into a place and say, you know, this is what I want you to make my hair look like. I have to question that choice.
And one more thing, Devontae Adams he's slightly decreased his yards per game each of the last 4 seasons, but he's got your boy throwing to him maybe Rod,
You didn't
Minshew.
think we were going to leave the Raiders before I brought Minshew up. Come on now.
Minshew mania. Can he beat out Aiden O'Connell from Purdue? I don't. We'll see.
I hope. Listen. They gave him enough money. He's at least starting week 1. But listen, there's a very good chance that he throws a couple of ill-advised picks week 3. And then
He will. No question.
Down his neck. Yeah. But there's also a good chance that he throws 22, 21 touchdowns and gives the Raiders a fighting chance at the playoffs. I don't think that's true because I think the sneaky team in this division is a man who is having his name drugged through the mud right now. He happened to coach a prior college football team where a lot of stuff went down. He had no knowledge of it. How could you think that he would have any knowledge of it? He had no prior way of understanding that it would go on, nor would he ever want anyone to do anything of the such. He's just a man that believes chickens are nervous birds, and he wants to coach football, drink milk, and wear khakis, and that's Jim Harbaugh. I'm excited for the Chargers. Williams, we've talked so often on this very podcast about the Chargers chargering. I believe the Chargers can no longer charger because Jim Harbaugh overrides that. He is just that much of a presence, that much of a force, that much of a culture changer. I'm not sure he's the Vince Lombardi of football coaches, but I think Harbaugh comes in, immediately changes the culture, gets a team on the winning ways. Maybe he's gone in 2 years, but they're not going to be a bad football team.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's a massive coaching upgrade here, but when do they make the jump, in year 1 or year 2? And they brought in Greg Roman, who he was competitive with Ty God in Buffalo as the OC. He helped Lamar win his first MVP in Baltimore. And don't forget, Colin Kaepernick had his career year under Greg Roman back in 2013. So people think the Chargers are going to run it like 80% of the time. I don't think that's the case because I don't believe the Chargers D will be good enough this year to do that. Preseason rankings have them slotted in as the 26th ranked defense. And historically, when Greg Roman's offenses have fallen behind in games, like negative game script, his pass rate has went up, which is the normal thing to do. So I'm just pointing out that the general public isn't factoring this in. So, I mean, there's going to be games where Herbert has good fantasy days. And I think he's probably going to be picked too low in fantasy because everyone thinks the Chargers are just going to run. They are going to run a lot, but this offense has a chance to be very efficient. Herbert's going to throw less passes, but it's going to be very efficient.
That will make Chris angry. He does not like to see Justin Herbert succeed. Probably another good thing that Chris is not on this podcast at this moment. Jimmy, you have a lot of experience with Mr. Harbaugh. What are your thoughts about those pesky, used to be San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers?
So last year, I picked the Chargers to go pretty far in the playoffs. In fact, all the way. The championship.
How did that work out for San Diego?
They got Jim Harbaugh,
San Diego,
and they're going to go 13-4 this year because they're going to be amazing. Yes, Justin Herbert got hurt. Yes, that's fine. Yes, it's a first-year head coach. I really like the culture. I like what they did in the draft, and I think they are going to be one of the teams that really benefits from that NFC South schedule where they are just going to run through that division. So I am picking the Chargers to go 13-4. I think they're going to do very, very well this year.
Wow. Before we move on to the Chiefs, who we're going to spend brief times on, because Williams, I'm going to ask you to talk about the Chiefs in one way. I'm going to ask you this question about the overall division. If I gave you that the Chargers or the Raiders falter and trade off one of their veterans to a contender, be it Devonta Adams, be it Bosa, maybe from the Chargers, which one do you think is more likely to happen?
I think probably the Raiders, because I think the Chargers are going to be in the Chargers are going to get off to a quick start because of that schedule in the early goings. And I think if it goes south with the Raiders trying to run the ball 800 times a game, you're going to hear from Devontae Adams and a certain team that he may want to go up there in New York, a certain shade of green where he might want to reunite with somebody. But I'll tell you this about the Chargers. They better get off to a early start because they have a negative 17-day rest differential in the last 10 weeks of the season after their bye in week 5. They play.
I'm not sure if I understand that stat, but negative can't be good.
No, so that means a lot of teams have extra time to prepare for them. And so they play 6 teams that have extra time to prepare against them in those last 10 weeks, while they get zero. They get zero of those games. That's the first time it's happened in the NFL since 2000. It's actually happened to 2 teams. We'll get to the other team later, and I have a feeling you're not going to be happy about it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, at Zona versus the Saints versus Cincy versus the Ravens, at Atlanta, at KC, all those games from week 7 to week 14 are on short rest. And it's absolutely ridiculous what the NFL schedule makers are putting the Chargers through, and another team. And we'll get to another team that's even worse than that. It may be the worst in NFL history a couple weeks from now.
he is stacking them. He's
Yeah,
stacking the
the
teasers on
NFL
top of one another
yeah,
here.
the NFL rest disadvantage. The schedule makers did not do a good job this year.
All right. The 2-time defending Super Bowl champions reside in Kansas City. They have a pretty good quarterback, number 15. They have a pretty good head coach, Andy Reid, catching up on Bill Belichick for most victories ever for an NFL head coach. Clearly, that guy's pretty good. They have a tight end who's dating a pretty big deal. People like to talk about him. Isaiah Pacheco showed up a little bit last year. All things pointing great for the Chiefs, except three-peating is really tough to do. And Williams, what worries you about the Chiefs? We all know about what the Chiefs have. What worries you about the Chiefs going into a possible three-peat season?
I think the defense, they lost shutdown corner Ladarius Sneed. We'll talk about him a little bit later, where he went. Uh, and I mean, they lost Willie Gay. He went over to the Saints, big linebacker for them. They lost safety Mike Edwards. He went to the Bills, and they lost linebacker Darius Harris. So, and they only took one defensive player in the draft in the first 200 picks of the draft. They're just like, just gonna, yeah, it's fine. We'll be fine. They did help out their offense. They brought in Hollywood Brown, and they drafted the speedster Xavier Worthy from Texas with their first round pick. So you would think this offense is going to be better in 24 than it was in 23. Last year, when the Chiefs played a game with at least a 2-day rest deficit, getting back to the rest here, they were 2-3 straight up and 1-4 against the spread. When they didn't have a 2-day rest deficit, they were 12-3 against the spread and 13-2 straight up. That's how big the rest advantages and disadvantages are in the NFL. And most people just don't even really realize that.
Nice. We will be focusing on that as we go throughout the season. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs trying to three-peat? You worry about the disease of more here? Or do you think this team has it together enough that we still have to worry about what they have to say when it comes to the championship?
Well, as far as Patrick Mahomes goes, if he's on the field, they have something to say. I think I'm not going to give my spoiler here, but I think the Chiefs are going to do very, very well this year again. I think they have what it takes to at least contend for a three-peat.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go with who we think is going to win this division before we move on to the AFC South. I am going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I like the Chargers an awful lot, and I like the Broncos to not be as bad as people think, but ultimately that will wash out with the Chiefs still on top. Jimmy Jam.
I have the Chiefs as well.
Williams, empty the clip for the AFC West here, and then give us your prediction.
Yeah, the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl last year was absolutely amazing when you consider that this team had a negative 11 turnover margin, yet won the Super Bowl. This team had 23 more penalties than their opponents, yet won the Super Bowl. In 2022, the Chiefs were number 1 in success rate on early downs. They were number 1 in points scored. Last year, the Chiefs were number 15 in success rate on early downs. They were number 27 in points scored, and they still won the Super Bowl. I can't go against Patrick Mahomes, as contrarian as I want to be, but I will say that I like the Chargers over 8.5, and I think we're all on that board too. Even with the terrible rest disadvantage.
There we go. We got some AFC South thoughts. Goodness gracious, I'm getting all excited because we're moving on to the AFC South, the division that contains the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what I'm excited. No, we're not excited to talk about the Jags. The Jags and the Titans are two teams that I don't want to spend too much time on. The Titans, I really don't want to spend any time on. So, Williams, let's start with the Titans and dispatch with them quickly because I don't think they're actually trying to win, are they?
Oh man. I'm actually
Oh no.
No. I think this team is going to be bad, but I think they're going to be fun bad. Like this isn't going to be like the Patriots last year or the Giants last year or maybe the Broncos this year. This team, I think, is going to be pretty fun, man. Massive
Definitely
scheme
won't be the
changes.
Broncos this year because I just gave you that the Broncos are going to be over 5.5.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we get to that, I should say Houston 9.5 is their over under -140 to the over. So shade to the over there. Indy 8.5 -125 to the under. That's slightly surprising.
How dare they?
Yeah, Jags 8.5 -110 on both sides. I would
That sounds about right for the Jags because listen, you
Mm.
could roll the dice 30 times and get different things the way the Jag season is going to go.
and Tennessee pulling up the rear here for the projections 6.5 -135 to the under.
Under.
I don't know, man. I they're going
Somebody's got to
from
be bad. And if I think the Broncos are going to be good, and clearly I do, I say Tennessee is going to be bad.
they're going from Vrabel, who loved to use heavy formations and run the ball, to Brian Callahan, who comes over from the Bengals, where they ran 3 wide receiver sets at the 6th highest clip in the league.
I just don't understand why that guy left his job at the auto parts, right? I mean, that was such a great auto parts company over there. It ran an entire town. A lot of good families worked for them. I don't understand why he left.
Guarantee on the box.
Yeah.
Guarantee on the box. Yeah. The Titans in
Williams,
23.
I still can't throw you. I still can't
No,
throw
he
you.
didn't care.
Preseason. He's in regular season form, even in preseason, Jimmy. He just blows through my
I love
jokes
it.
every time, folks. This is why you have to tune into the podcast every week because Williams is down in his notes doing work for you, and I'm over here cracking jokes about Tommy Boy.
I love Tommy Boy. I love the movie. But yeah,
But
we're
I
talking,
don't care. Okay.
we're talking NFL here. The Titans last year ran the 6th fewest 3 wide receiver sets. Boring. So massive jump here, man. Levis goes from the 23rd most snaps out of shotgun in 23. The Bengals last year, where Callahan's coming from, ran the 3rd most plays out of a shotgun. I think, Rod, stay with me here. I think that Will Levis could have the second 30 for 30 season behind Jameis Winston. I think Will Levis is in contention for 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Now you're getting my attention.
I'm
A
telling you,
30
man.
season. I'm in for that. Let's go.
Let's listen to who the Titans brought in here. They still have Hopkins. They brought in Calvin Ridley. They brought in Tyler Boyd. They brought in Tony
Let's go.
Pollard.
It's
They
like the
got Tajay
refugee for
Spears.
lost receivers down there in Tennessee. Let's go.
They bring in the former OC from Ohio State who played a ton of 11 personnel. This is not going to look like anything you've ever seen from the Titans before. They are going to spread the field and chuck it. And I think this team is going to be fun, man. They brought in Cushionberry, 2 at center, 3rd highest graded pass blocking center.
Oh, no, listen, enough. That's enough Tennessee Titans. When you go to the
Titans.
center, we're moving on from the Titans. Jimmy, can you believe that we just got this kind of Titans? I mean, this isn't Coach, Herman Boone. All right. This isn't those Titans. These are the Tennessee Titans.
So think about this, though. If he knows this much about the Titans, what else does he know about all these other teams? That's why he's our expert, Rod. That is why he is here.
That is a good way to look at it, Jimmy Jam. Williams, let's go to Jacksonville, and I'm going to ask it to you this way. I am pro Visor. All right. I'm pro salt and pepper hair. Love Doug Peterson. Just made it remember the Titans reference right there. Love that Trevor Lawrence is basically Ronnie Sunshine Bass. But the Jaguars are basically the same team we saw last year that severely underperformed and disappointed everybody. So why should people be excited down there in Jacksonville?
Yeah. First off, to complete my tease, that L'Jarius Sneed, he's with the Titans now. So I just wanted to complete that.
So there it is. The L'Jarius Sneed is the reason that the Titans will be good, and it has actually nothing to do with their strong side, weak side formation coming together over a tough training camp.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say good. I said fun. I said the Tennessee.
You
Titans
did. You're right.
fun.
I love nothing more than trying to put words in your mouth, but that's true. You did say that they were fun.
Okay, so now negative time here. I like the other 3 teams in the AFC South to go over. I like the Jags to go way under. And if you look,
Peterson first coach fired situation, like
Possibly.
ship goes down quick style.
listen to this. They are spending less this year on 6 of the 9 positional groups, 3 out of 4 on the defensive side of the ball, including bottom 4 at the cornerback position. And Trevor Lawrence.
Perhaps if their owner wasn't losing so much money trying to compete with Vince McMahon's former company, I don't know why I thought of Vince McMahon there. He's got nothing to do with him anymore. But if he wasn't spending so much money trying to compete with the WWE, maybe he'd have more money to pump into his Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmy, what do you think as our wrestling expert here on the show?
Well, he's the son, so he's not number one on there. But he was on the draft with a neck brace. Now, I just think that the Jaguars are stuck in. They got their quarterback, right? They got the quarterback. They were really excited, but they didn't have a plan for the quarterback. They didn't have a plan moving forward. And I really think they're going to be stuck in that 8-9, 9-8 area for the next couple of years unless they really do a good shakeup here.
We need them to be worse than that. Williams, continue. I just wanted to bring up that little wrestling angle there for Jimmy because I saw him. He knew what I was getting at with the cons. Con!
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence's average time to throw last year was 2.32 seconds. That's actually second fastest in the league. But when he took longer than 3 seconds, his EPA per attempt was 29th in the league. And in the first 13 weeks of the year, the Jags faced the second toughest schedule in the league. Jags were 30th in yards per carry last year, 29th in EPA per attempt, 27th in success rate. And last year, the Jags were next to last in red zone rushing efficiency. And get this, in the Trevor Lawrence era, listen to this stat. When the Jags,
What an era it's been.
when the Jags D doesn't create at least one turnover, Jacksonville is 1-18 in those games. And like I said, the strength of schedule through week 13 is the second toughest in the league. You look at those first 6 games on the Jags schedule, tell me that it's not possible they could go 0-6. And I think this team is in for a rude awakening. I could see this team winning only like 3 or 4, maybe 5 games this year.
Look out.
The schedule of the first 13 weeks is brutal.
Listen, let's not forget, right? History moves on quickly, right? We have new stories all the time these days. Let's not forget Trevor Lawrence's first coach in the NFL was Urban Meyer, all right? And we all remember how great that went. So, I mean, a lot of Lawrence's numbers are going to look not great. But I'm not about defending Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not about using the fun word for the Tennessee Titans because there better be one fun player in the AFC South. And there better be one offense that excites and delights me. And that should be coming from Lucas Oil Stadium. And that should be coming from Anthony Richardson, baby. Let's go. If you're going to move aside a guy like Gardner Minshew that played Pro Bowl quarterback for you last year in Indianapolis Colts, you better have something in the stable ready to go. And man, does Anthony Richardson look like that guy. Williams, I know you love Steichen. I know you were excited about Richardson after you saw him play a little bit. You said this guy had the tools, but you weren't sure if he could play the game. You were excited by what you saw. Please tell me you're high on my Indianapolis Colts this year.
Yeah, I mean, they were the 7th most injured team last year. They played the number 1 toughest schedule of run Ds and the number 2 toughest schedule of overall Ds. And this season, they are spending more on the offensive line, on the running backs, on the wide receivers, and the tight ends. And I think they're going to play extremely fast. I mean, Steichen isn't scared to go massively up tempo. And with Richardson last year, they were first in pace and no huddle rate. They were first in combined play rate when Richardson started. And they drafted Adonai Mitchell in the second round. He's going to help with the deep threat. They gave Michael Pittman a new contract. You could see Steichen pass more than what the Colts have showed the last handful of years. And I mean, Steichen has always said he's pass to lead, run to win. He's really not afraid, much like McVay. When they get up in games, they'll try and take the air out of the ball. But that offensive coaching staff has said Richardson is going to run the ball. And when he's not running, he's going to be chucking it down the field. This is going to be a scary offense if Richardson can stay healthy.
Jimmy Jam, are you a little bit bummed out this year that you don't have to be on Jonathan Taylor watch? Or are you more just excited that the Colts actually get 17 games from him this year?
I think I have to be on Anthony Richardson watch this year. Actually, I'm still so nervous about him and if he can really live up and be durable. The Jonathan Taylor situation, don't have to worry about that anymore. He's going to come in. He's going to come in strong and ready. I'm very excited about this season. My kids are okay, excited. They're not really excited at all. We have to go to every preseason game. We have to watch every single minute of every preseason game. So, yeah, to say that we're excited would be an understatement. But again, it all goes down to the quarterback. Got to see what happens with him.
Jimmy, tell me what it's like to live in Indianapolis right now. You've got Caitlin Clark fever taking over. You had the Pacers make a surprise run to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got anticipation for the Colts season, Anthony Richardson coming back. And then the event of all events will take place at Lucas Oil Stadium on February 1st, 2025, the Royal Rumble. Jimmy, I mean, what a time it is to live in the Nap.
It is pretty cool to live in this area. The Pacers Knicks game 6 was one of the most fun I've ever had at any sporting event, just with the kids and everything. And going to these Colts games has been a great tradition for the past couple of years. My daughter's going to come with my son and I now, so we are so excited. It's a terrific time to be here. You can't even get into the Caitlin Clark games under a couple $100, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it was terrific, and I'm excited to see what happens. Please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt.
I love that. All right, let's Williams. Let's stifle the Colts talk. Unless you got anything else on.
You're
the Colts
doing all right, Rod. You okay, man?
I don't know what's going on with me tonight, man. I'm just excited about the
I was
Colts.
excited about football.
I haven't even had any hard Mountain Dew tonight because there have been a couple of episodes here in the past month and a half where perhaps I was a little overserved, but that is not this evening.
I got some more on the Colts here.
Shocking.
They were 0-6 when they lost the turnover battle, 7-0 when they won it.
That's going to happen with the shoe. That's going to happen with the shoe. But it might happen with Richardson because he's young. So I get what you're saying. That's a worry.
Also, when leading at halftime, the Colts were 8-0. When they were trailing at halftime, they went 1-7. So it's really, really beneficial for the Colts to get off to a good
You said
start.
the Colts like to put the air out of the ball when they get the lead. Should we be worried about the fact that we lost Moss, our guy who ran pretty well for us last year when Taylor wasn't around? Should the Colts be worried about that?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I think JT and Richardson can get the job done. I mean, you saw what Steichen did with Hurts and that running game in Philly. The thing that has me the most worried about the Colts.
All right.
And this is really has nothing to do with the Colts. It has to do with the NFL schedule makers, not with who they play, but when they play them. The net rest edge rank, or should be disadvantage rank, the Colts are 30th. So the NFL really hosed the Colts here. The third worst net rest out of any team. The Colts have 5 games where their opponent has at least a week to prep, where on the other side, the Colts don't have any of those games, just like the Chargers. And during the first 12 weeks, they play the 5th toughest schedule. And so I really do not like that for the NFL schedule makers. And it's just random. They just pick random teams.
Sure it is. It has nothing to do with the fact that Jim Irsay is a complete clown and the NFL would like to see him do bad things. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. If Chris was here, he'd be saying the same thing. He's a conspiracy theorist on this podcast. I'm the one I sound crazy for saying it. All right, Williams. Now, speaking of sounding crazy, let me tell you this. High hopes down there in Houston. All right. CJ Stroud was great last year. But what if I told you that the fantasy hopes of one Jimmy Thomas Jamriska were pinned on CJ Stroud having to have a good year? And we all know the Jamriska effect on this podcast. So should the Houston Texans be worried that their number 1 rocket ship, sure Hall of Fame quarterback is now squarely on Team Jamriska?
Well, they did retain Bobby Slowick, which is comparable to Detroit retaining Ben Johnson. He's not as good as Ben Johnson, but yeah, their most frequent O-line combo last year for the Texans was healthy for only 20% of their snaps last year. So that's actually scary for the rest of the AFC South division.
But is it scarier than the Jamriska effect? You didn't answer my question.
Yeah, that Jamriska effect might be the most scary thing on the planet. But CJ Stroud had some interesting splits last year. Like everyone thought he had an amazing year, and he did.
Your splits are interesting.
But I bet most people would find this surprising. When he was under no pressure, he was number 2 in EPA, number 7 is in success rate, number 3 in yards per attempt. When he was pressured, though, he was number 27 in EPA, number 35 in success rate, number 30 in yards per attempt. I mean, like I said, the O-line has to stay more healthy than last year, you would think. And on the other side, the defense, they played the easiest schedule of opposing quarterbacks last year. This season, they get a top 10 schedule of opposing quarterbacks.
It was like a mash unit last year, though, man. Like, I don't know how much stock I want to put into that, because we went over it a couple of times during last year's shows about how there was just, I mean, what's that guy? That guy Boyle started 2 games for the Jets last year. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they are spending more money on every defensive group this year than they were last year. They threw money at all of it: the defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. They're one of the most balanced spending teams in the league. 18th on offense, 17th on defense. And the Texans
easy to do when you don't have to pay a quarterback big dollars, right? But here's what I worry about. Here's something you haven't mentioned yet. All right. They made a big move to bring in a wide receiver. All right. And wide receivers, like they just kind of they get to the top of the mountain and then they basically just fall off, right? Like there's rarely ever a graceful end for wide receivers. Do we worry a little bit that the Bills were like, we still want to contend for the Super Bowl, but we're good on you. We're sending you right out of town. Should they be worried about that down there in Houston?
I think after the first year, yes, because if you go back and look at what Diggs, he wasn't a menace to anybody on those teams in his first year with the Vikings or his first year with the Bills, and he really landed in a great spot here with Stroud, up and coming quarterback, and he's got two other guys that can take pressure off of him, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. So I I would have said if he would have landed anywhere else that my radar would have been up. Whereas, this guy can cause some problems and he still could. But I think this first year, I think the Texans are all in trying to win this division, trying to get a couple of home playoff games with Diggs.
Jimmy Jam, as a Colt fan who's clearly excited about the season, how worried about you are the Texans?
I hate the Texans. I hate them so much. We play in week 1. I'm very, very scared about that. I think we're going to start off with a loss, unfortunately. I think the Texans are going to win the division, and I think they are going to continue to build on what they did last year. I don't see a sophomore slump.
Yeah, man, I'm worried about that coach, right? Every once in a while, the coach comes around and he's kind of the real deal. You know what I mean? Like we have certain programs in the NFL. As much as Chris would like to make fun of Belichick, the guy had sustained success for many, many years. Mike Tomlin's been a good coach in Pittsburgh for a long time. John Harbaugh's been entrenched in Baltimore for a long time. Every once in a while, you just come across a guy that's the guy. And D'Amico Ryan seems like he's that. CJ Stroud, I have no reason to believe he's going to fall on his face, but growth isn't always linear, right? It can sometimes be a bit of a roller coaster. So I'm all in on the Colts, baby. Let's go. I'm going to ride the Colts all year long. Chris likes to give me crap about wishing the Colts to lose. That is not going to be this year. I'm going to be all in on the Colts wagon. Let's go Steichen. Let's go Richardson. Let's go JT. Let's go Pittman. I'm not sure. The Mitchell, is that the guy's name from Texas? Let's go with that guy. Let's go. I'm not sure who's playing tight end anymore. Is Jack Doyle still there? Maybe he is.
Sure.
I'm not sure, but I'm excited. There's probably a white guy playing tight end for the Colts. There usually is.
Yeah, you forgot about for the Colts, Josh Downs. He was in the 95th percentile success rate versus man coverages as a rookie.
Oh no, I didn't forget about Josh Downs. I hope
Josh Downs is awesome, dude.
Josh Downs, no.
And
I love Josh
too much Josh Downs. There was too much Josh Downs last year.
In college, he was the best contested catch wide receiver in his class of 2022. He wins at all three levels. He creates separation. He's not tall
enough in the pros. He's not tall enough in the pros to get those contested catches.
You need to get up on Josh Downs, Rod.
Yeah.
You want contested catches on the Colts, you throw it to Pittman because the guy can't blow by anybody in speed. So you better be able to catch a contested ball, and he can do that. From what I gather, it's the Texas kid. He's the speed burner. That's who we need. That's the kid.
Listen, I think the Colts.
Don't I sound like a real football scout right there? From what I gather, it's the Texas kid. He's the speed burner. Williams, unload the clip on the AFC South and then give us your prediction.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for this bad net rest disadvantage with the Colts, I would think about picking them for the division. I think they're 1 year away. I do think the Texans win this division. I think the Colts.
No such thing as 1 year away in football. No such thing. The Colts are going to continue to be 1 year away. It's now or never, baby. Let's go.
Listen, I think the Colts are going to be a super fun team. You guys have no expectations. The Colts and the Bears almost in the same category here, where they're just playing, and it should be loose. This season should be loose. And
no way, your Bears got expectations. Let's go. We haven't even gotten to them yet. Let's go. I'm going to be on that wagon too.
Yeah, but it should be a fun
rematch of Lovey Dungy, baby. That's what we're looking for this
week 3,
year, right? That's
week 3, Bears and Colts.
Right, we got Steichen, and we got who's the Bears coach now? Eberflus, former Colts D coordinator. Let's go, come on! That's a juicy Super Bowl matchup right there. Everybody wants that, don't they, Jim? They want to hear about Matt Eberflus. Used to coach under a completely different regime in Indianapolis. That's what they want to hear about.
Of course they do. Hey, listen, Flus is like a star now on Hard Knocks, so that's fantastic.
I haven't even watched that yet. Has that debuted?
Yeah. It started yesterday. Bears whole organization actually looked really good, especially with the DJ Moore contract extension. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, because people were always a little worried about, how the Bears would come across, right? They used to get accusations, including by you two jokers, of being a mom and pop organization.
Oh, there are certain owners that aren't in there at all, just for the record. There are certain people who are not in that at all.
Because we're a little worried about what they might say on camera. Is there a little bit of that going on?
Or do, whatever.
Hey, well, listen, shout out to Liev Schreiber. All right. That guy's got the life. All right. He gets resids from great movies, and he gets to just narrate Hard Knocks. And I think he's still married to Naomi Watts. Don't check me on that or not. They might be divorced now, but at one point in his life, he definitely was married to her. So that was, that was a good time for a while. Jimmy, are you frantically Googling that now as we're going out here to see if I was right on that?
I am. Well, they dined out with their son in June. So, oh, no. Oh, God. Not even close, Rod. 2016.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, listen, they're still amicable, right? They're having dinner with their son. They're living the
amicable.
2024 dream, right?
Yes.
Speaking of amicable, our guy Chris King, we didn't excommunicate him. Excommunicate, not excommunicate. I think that's a whole different thing. Excommunicate.
Yeah,
though.
that's kind of dirty.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that has to do with something completely different. But we did not throw Chris off of this podcast. He will be back next week. I'm sure there was some sort of an emergency, some sort of a pipe burst somewhere, some sort of a power outage somewhere. When you manage a sprawling complex of apartments, things come up every now and again, right, Jimmy?
They do. And, we make fun of Chris a lot, but he is so essential to what he does, and we do appreciate, and I know everyone appreciates him. Actually, I know no one appreciates him where he works. Let's be honest, but they should, because he's a hardworking guy.
He's got hundreds and hundreds of years experience doing all of the things that he is doing for that apartment complex.
He invented plumbing.
Exactly. Rob. He sure did. He got him out of the sheds and into the houses, and this is the thanks they get. They call him out on podcast night. William, so we're going to ask you to fill in for Chris, all right? I'll give you your chance to have the final word here.
Circle back. Williams.
You are going to fill in for Chris and do his final sign-off. But right now, you get a chance to do what you do best and circle us back, my friend.
I got two more things on the AFC South. One is the Jags. They have back-to-back London games, and they do not decide to take the bye after the London games. What are you doing?
Money, baby. Khan needs that money because he's got to pay MJF.
The Jags, I'm telling you, under on the Jags. Also, you want a fantasy tidbit here. We already talked about him once. Tajay Spears, little running back for the Titans. His target share as a rookie, he had a 14.8 target share. Only 5 guys since 2011 had higher target shares as rookies. You want to know who they were? Run CMC, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Bijan Robinson, and Tariq Cohen. You might say Tariq Cohen doesn't deserve to be on that list, but don't forget, Tariq Cohen in his second season with the Bears was RB 15 overall.
Bam.
So you can get Tajay Spears probably late, and we've already talked about the Titans are going to be behind, and they're going to be chucking it. Little passes out of the backfield to Tajay Spears, and this guy's got a great story. One of 9 growing up, had nothing. He was poor in New Orleans, and now this dude's made it to the NFL. It's a great story. Tajay Spears late. Running back flyer for your fantasy team.
If we've learned anything this podcast, it is that we need to carve out a booth at Coyote Ugly down there in Nashville. Williams wants to get to Broadway really, really soon. He is in on the Titans. He is all things Tennessee. He is going to move down there and start his own Tennessee-related sports book. Everybody, get your real estate in Tennessee early. I cannot believe. Jimmy, did you think that this podcast was going to be a celebration of the Tennessee Titans?
Apparently, we have to ring the bell for the Titans from now on. Thanks, Williams.
Yeah. Thanks, Williams. Thanks, Jimmy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making sure to follow along on our social media platforms. Tell your friends about this very podcast. I promise you, we do excellent work during the football season. There are lots and lots of football podcasts out there, but I guarantee you they don't look at the NFL quite the way that we do. All right. We do fun games. We have little weird things that we keep track of. Jimmy makes bets that you can go against. Williams makes bets that you should probably play. That's what we do here. Come back and see us another time. Jimmy, do you have anything to say to the people before we go?
Don't get hurt, Anthony Richardson. Please don't get hurt.
All right. And Williams, here we go. This is your big moment. Send us home the way that Chris normally does. Chris, we miss you, buddy.
Goodbye, Internet.
That was fair.